So I guess while we have some travel time, I guess I'll just go over the agenda for today. So the goal is to go to 3 of the Eagle Eye satellites, get their encoded message, and go to get their appropriate special signals, and then we'll go trace the signals and find out what the Thargoids are up to this week. For those who are not aware of what Eagle Eye is, there are 6 special comms beacons, special unregistered comms beacons, spread out across 6 different areas of the Pleiades. I'll show them off real quick. There is one here in HIP 17692, planet, I want to say 2? Planet 3. There it is. The second is in HR 1185. And that's at planet 5. And it would appear that the Indra is over there as well. Well, close to at least. Eagle Eye 3 is located here at HIP 17892, which is near planet 1. Eagle Eye 4, which we're going to now, which I almost overshot carelessly, is right here at HIP 17225A5. And I'll talk about, and the other 2 Eagle Eye stations we'll be going to anyway, so I'll show their locations once we get a chance. It would appear my power is in turmoil again. Gonna have to get that fixed. And it looks like Eagle Eye 4 is nice and empty today, so it should mean nice and quiet as we go get our signals. Well, I see some ships up there. Looks like it's mostly convoy ships. Besides that adder. Oh no, it's all convoy ships. Nothing to worry about. Ah yes, I almost forgot my patented stealth strategy. So ladies and gentlemen, sometimes there could be Authority vessels here, and I'm carrying a load of illegal Thargoid cargo right now. Let's fix that. Or at least adjust accordingly so that they don't bother me. Hold on. Oop. Oh, do I not have my wake scanner installed? Oh, I don't have my wake scanner installed. Whoops. Okay, well, we'll have to improvise our stealth mode this time then. So, I basically just shut everything down besides my life support and my sensors. Now, normally I would have a wake scanner installed on this ship, deploy, and that would adjust my priorities as necessary to shut everything down. However, I'm still currently geared up for my Guardian speedrunning gear, so I don't currently have the wake scanner installed. Oops. It's not a big deal. I could just go into stealth a little. It just takes a little longer to go into stealth. So this brings my heat value so low that no ships can scan me from 1 kilometer away, which they normally would. So what's going to happen, folks, is in about 3.5 minutes, Eagle Eye 4 is going to deliver an encoded message. It's going to be scrambled, and we'll have to decipher it. Luckily, we have a way of doing so, but I will discuss that in greater detail once we get to the next Eagle Eye station, because once I get this message done, we are on a time limit. I also have a little Word document here next to me that I can write everything down on. So I'm just preparing things here. Okay. So thankfully nice and peaceful around Eagle Eye 4 today. No worries about any unwanted pirate attacks. Now if a pirate were to come after me, I do have a backup strategy, and that is there's tons of little alcoves in here, little hatches that I can just hide in case I come under fire. The AI is not particularly brilliant, and so they won't try too hard to attack me from in here. And I can stay in these and use them as cover while the cops show up and deal with them. So, a couple of nice avenues of escape in the event of an emergency. So I guess I may have arrived a little bit too early, so we're just keeping the peace here. You will notice that Vulture is coming towards me. I guess that gives me something to talk about. So that Vulture is on its way trying to scan me. It's not going to succeed, of course, because I'm in stealth. But you can see it's closing, closing, closing. The scanning distance, as mentioned previously, is 1 kilometer. So it's going to get there, it's going to come to me, and it's going to stop. It's going to stay right there. So yeah, these two vultures are not going to bother me. But on to more important matters. It is now about to reach the bottom of the hour. It is time to listen in on Eagle Eye 4. So I'm going to shut up for a couple of minutes and let this message play out, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
Niner. 1, 4, 2, 2, 1, 4, 5, 1, 8, 1, Niner. Papa, Delta, Victor, Tango, Oscar, Delta, India, Juliet, Kilo, Hotel, Kilo, Golf, Kilo, Tango, Papa, Papa, Bravo, Romeo, Juliet, India, Golf, Alpha, Delta, Quebec, Delta, Victor, Quebec, Delta, Alpha, Sierra, Bravo, Lima, 1, 6, 4, 4, 0, 1, Delta, Bravo, Juliet, Uniform, Delta, Papa, Quebec, Bravo, Romeo, India, Quebec, Delta, Tango, Oscar, Romeo, Delta, Juliet, Quebec, Niner, 1, 4.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first... Whoops. Let's actually get out because I don't want those vultures to scan me. That is the first decoded message provided by Eagle Eye. Oh, I forgot that needs to be on group 2. I forgot I still have it set to my Guardian loadout. Alright, so our next stop, ladies and gentlemen, is Eagle Eye 5, and thankfully this one is a much shorter trip by comparison to the, in terms of light seconds, in comparison to this one. So we should have a few minutes after reaching Eagle Eye 5 to determine our next signal, determine our next, get our next message. We have about 6.5 minutes, and the Eagle Eye satellite is only 90 light seconds from the star. So, nice and close, no worries about missing out on anything. Oh, this is a problem. You guys do realize I'm on a time limit, right? Well, luckily, the only thing that's actually going to scan me is that Medusa. These three guys are going to take their sweet time. In fact, they're kind of blocking the Medusa. Let's just get out of here, shall we? But yeah, a nice thing is that when in flight assist off, you do actually maintain your momentum after you're hit by the Thargoid shutdown field. This allows you to basically stay out of their scanning range long enough to get your systems back up, and you can just high wake out. Now, where were we before we got so rudely disrupted? Ah, yes, getting to Eagle Eye 5, which is right here. The Super Cruise music's not playing. Oh, there it goes. It's just a little quiet because I have it set lower so that way I don't disrupt Eagle Eye's noises. Never mind, we're all good. So yeah, like I said, Eagle Eye 5 isn't too far away by comparison to the other, one. So even though we had that high prediction cost us a couple of minutes, we're still in good shape. And once we get to Eagle Eye 5, I will translate the first encoded message we received and demonstrate what it means and how to translate it. And it looks like it's just convoy ships and no pirates again, so... Again, nice peaceful trip to the transmitter. Alright, let's now go into stealth. I'm gonna put the fuel scoop on group 3 so I don't risk, Oh, actually, the fuel scoop can act as my instant, The fuel scoop can act as my instant stealth, generator. like so. There we go. Now we're into stealth, and we don't have to worry about getting scanned. So, let me load up my desktop scene for a second here, and demonstrate how to decode the Eagle Eye signals. So, the way Eagle Eye works is it begins by delivering a series of numbers. So it gave us 9er, 1422, 145, 1819er. These numbers correspond to letters in the English alphabet. In this case, they spell out the word invaders. So, how you go about decoding the signals is you take what you hear, but you start out with spelling the letters in invaders, so spell out what the numbers gave you, followed by the rest of the alphabet. You listen for these letters, and you change the letters accordingly into letters as though they were matched in the normal English alphabet. For example, I becomes A, N becomes B, C becomes J, and so on and so forth. So, this is the signal that was given to us by Eagle Eye 4. So this huge mumbo-jumbo of gibberish. What this translates exactly to, I should say, is secure anomalous signal detected, and this is a system name and a planet, followed by this part, which is investigate urgent. So we're going to translate that system text. So we have an SBL, so that is an H, I, so H, I, and P. So it is HIP 16440 because numbers are not scrambled. 1D, so that means planet 1E. So that is going to be our destination for one of our signals. Now, we are about to come up on Eagle Eye 5's transmission. It's going to be in about 20 seconds. It's kind of... Actually, you can see the clock just fine. But yeah, so I am going to... This time I'm going to play out the message, but this time I'm going to type out the system name, the scrambled system name, as it's released by Eagle Eye 5. So, here we go again, folks.
Niner. 1, 4. 2, 2. 1, 4. 5, 1, 8. 1, Niner. Papa, Delta, Victor, Tango, Oscar, Delta. India, Juliet, Kilo, Hotel, Kilo, Golf, Kilo, Tango, Papa, Papa, Bravo, Romeo, Juliet, India, Golf, Alpha, Delta, Quebec, Delta, Victor, Quebec, Delta, Alpha.
And now the system name.
Sierra, Bravo, Lima, 2, 0, 7, 8, 5, 6, November, Bravo, Juliet, Uniform.
Alright, that one's pretty easy. This one is going to be HIP 20785, and that's an N, so 6B. Simple enough.
Tango, Oscar, Romeo, Delta, Juliet.
And that last part, investigate urgent, is always the same. Our last one is going to be Eagle Eye 6, and that will be in Pleiades Sector IRW D155. which is the same system as the Oracle, except I can't get to it because the planet's in the way.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage. Frameshift drive charging.
And there we go.
3, 2,
Alright, hopefully we don't get hyperdicted again. Okay, good, we didn't. This one's a bit more of a trek. This one's about 1.3 thousand light seconds. Not too big a deal. And somebody already low-waked. So we're going to go now to Eagle Eye 6. And we're going to start taking care of business elsewhere. Just closing out a couple of things, trying to keep my PC from overloading. I don't want to be having drop frames because I've got too much stuff running in the background. So typically, the first 3 Eagle Eye satellites and the last 2 Eagle Eye satellites are duplicates of each other, and what I mean by that is that Eagle Eye 4 will typically share the same message as Eagle Eye 1, Eagle Eye 5 will typically share the same message as Eagle Eye 2, and so on and so forth. What we'll be checking is we're going to check Eagle Eye 1 after this, because it does start at the top of the hour, and we will verify that Eagle Eye 1 is in fact a duplicate of Eagle Eye 4, in which case we will be done with what I like to call Phase 1 of Thargoid Thursday. I split Thargoid Thursdays up into 4 separate phases. The first is the Eagle Eye phase, where we go and get the Eagle Eye signals. The second is where we go to the Thargoid structures that the Eagle Eye signals are pointing to, and we get their special signals. Phase 3 is interpreting some sound data we're going to be getting from the special signals and a Thargoid link to track the targets, and the final phase will be actually going to the targets themselves. So, let's drop into Eagle Eye 6.
power plant capacity exceeded.
We've been fairly lucky in that all of the, in that there's currently... Oh, I may have spoken too soon. You notice that there's an anaconda up there. Oh, actually, they're Authority vessels. They're Authority anacondas. Never mind. Even still, I'm currently carrying all this Thargoid cargo, so I still don't want those Authority anacondas to see me. So to bypass this, we are going to just get in front of the transmitter again and go into stealth. This will reduce my heat, and hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate again why this trick is broken. Actually, you can see that there's an anaconda directly below me. It's about behind here somewhere. There it is. So you can see that, again, it's trying to get to me to scan me, but instead it's just poking its nose on that steel beam over there. So it's not going to actually bother me. So it's just going to sit there. Now, the order in which I'm going to actually be investigating these signals is I'm going to go to the base provided by Eagle Eye 6 first. And the reason I do this is because when it gives me the signals later down the road, it's easier for me to organize the signals in order of which Eagle Eye satellite they came out of if I go from 3 to 1 instead of 1 to 3. Otherwise, they're in reverse order, essentially. So it's just a little organization feature that I prefer to go with. Now, we already got one Thargoid hyperdiction so far this Thargoid Thursday. I'm curious to know if we're going to get an interceptor event at any of the Thargoid structures. It seems that after activating the Thargoid puzzles, there's some small chance that a Thargoid interceptor may pop out and decide to drop down, just have a quick peek, and then just goes off on its own. I've had this happen once on stream. I've not had it happen since, but we'll see if it can happen again. It is actually possible to data link scan the scientific installation because that's what Eagle Eye is considered, and you can actually find out that there are tons of things you can get off of the station. You notice that there are obviously a ton of defensive turrets, 2 cargo bays, and a hackable data transmitter. That hackable data transmitter can provide some pretty high-end data. Where is that transmitter anyway? It is directly in front of me. It's down there-ish. It's on the other end of the station, actually. And hey, Macubus, welcome to the stream. Alright, so we are now 40 seconds away from our next Eagle Eye message. Let's load up our Word document and prepare to decode message number 3 for the morning. And Sensoray, welcome to the stream as well. Alright, so our Word document's all loaded up. So yeah, we're going to go to whatever system this Eagle Eye satellite points out first. Then we're going to go to HIP 2785, and then we're going to go to HIP 16440. Nothing the Diamondback Explorer cannot handle, especially since it's packing a 3H FSD booster. How are we doing on time? Here we go. Eagle Eye's just about to start talking. Yes, Amancubus, I've already gotten hyperdicted on the way to Eagle Eye 5.
Niner. 1, 4. 2, 2.
Not at all, Sensoray.
1, 4.
If anything, this signal's probably going to be another HIP system.
1, 8. 1, Niner. Papa, Delta, Victor, Tango, Oscar, Delta. India, Juliet, Kilo, Hotel, Kilo, Golf, Kilo, Tango, Papa, Papa, Bravo, Romeo, Juliet, India, Golf, Alpha, Delta, Quebec, Delta, Victor, Quebec, Delta, Alpha, Sierra, Bravo, Lima.
Yeah, this is going to be another HIP.
2, 2, 7, 4, 3. November 1, India. Bravo.
Okay, so that translated roughly... Actually, you know what? Let's get away from the transmitter so it's not constantly making noise at us. And in the meantime, let's plot for Eagle Eye 1. There we go. So, back to the Word document here. So, Sierra Bravo Lima, so that's HIP 22743, and N1I would translate to B1A. So it's the B star that we're going to. That's partially discouraging because the B star could be anywhere from 2 to 200,000 light seconds, knowing this game's history.
4, 3, 2.
So Sensoray. So the way kill merits work in terms of power play. Depending on which faction owns the system, usually if it's a faction that is not your current power play faction, there are specific ships designated with special names. For example, if I go into Galactic Powers for a second here, switch back to the ED scene. Okay, so if we go to, say, my power, Zemina Torval, this system is currently not, actually, you know what? This system's not owned by any power play faction, so this wouldn't be a good example. Actually, here's a different idea. So if I were to highlight Archon Delane, for example, he's not my power play faction. And if I go to a system that's marked as Control, and let's just click this one, for example. Actually, no. Which is the one I always go to? Here we go, HIP 106072. So, in your case, you would be undermining the opposition, this faction, since you're not allied with him. To do this, you have to destroy specifically Como Crew transport vessels, or Como Crew watch vessels. The game doesn't say this, but if the vessel says Como Crew watch, you can attack that vessel as well. And after you score those kills, you then have to go to a control system of your faction. For example, in my case, I would go to this system, or this system, for example, and turn in your merits via the power contact, as I overshoot the Eagle Eye Station. Now, the reason I specifically picked HIP 106072 is because that system is in Anarchy, and you will not get Pilots Federation bounties for destroying ships in that system because it's in Anarchy. You will, however, still get power bounties, which does require you to pay them off at Interstellar Factors, which, very conveniently, Smithport just so happens to have. Now, the method I always use for getting my transports to pop up is I actually drop out right before or after a nav beacon, or right after passing a nav beacon, so within about 120 kilometers rather, excuse me. And what that does is, oh, you've seen that method, so for those who do not know, that method basically guarantees that all ships that spawn in the instance are guaranteed to be at the very least power play related ships. But yeah, hopefully that clears up confusion about combat merits. Now, certain factions can be in an expansion state, in which point they may have special zones, special CZs, specifically designated towards assisting that expansion. Let me see if any powers currently fall under that criteria after I go into stealth.
Thrusters offline.
There we go. Nope. Powers. There we go. So let's look for any power that's in an expansion state. Aha, here we go. This is opposition, actually, so this faction would not be a good demonstration. No systems to expand for her. No systems to expand for Denton. Aha, okay, here we go. So, in the Your system, for example, Archon Delane is trying to expand. In this case, special conflict zones will develop around the area. They're specifically marked as resistance pockets. These are basically conflict zones. They could be either high or low intensity. You then, basically, you get 10 merits per kill in these type of conflict zones, and you once again hand in confirmation at a control system. just like with the Como Crew transport kill bounties. So you go after specifically the faction that does not that has the strike ships. You side with the faction that is actually the Resistance. So that's another way you can get power play merits by combat. Yes, in Edmund Mann's case, it has to be bureaucrats. In Archon Delane's case, it can be either Como Crew transports or Como Crew watch vessels. For some reason, Como Crew watch vessels qualify as well. So, for this Eagle Eye message, I am looking to see if we get Sierra Bravo Lima 164401 Delta again. If we do, it's a duplicate of Eagle Eye 4, we don't have to do anything special, and we can just go ahead and start moving on to the sites. We are, however, going to start checking and see if I've been to the systems involving the current systems we've decoded. So this is where my first stop is going to be. We have not been there yet. Yeah, we can definitely skip that last jump with low fuel. Second location is HIP 20785. And this is a structure that I probably have been to before. What planet is it? 6B? Yep, I've been to it before because I've scanned it. And the last one is HIP 16440. Which is right around the corner. And it looks like I've been to this one as well. Planet 1E. Right down there. So, we still got 45 seconds. Anytime, Sensei, always happy to help. There appears to actually be nobody around. In fact, the only thing that's around is a single high wake. Might as well see if this Eagle Eye installation has anything different. We got 20 seconds. I wonder what those weird red tanks are for. You can see they actually flash different colors, too. They must be power generators or something. Oh, Eagle Eye time. Oh, they could be shot. Okay. I'm not going to bother going to the Word document for this one.
Niner. 1, 4, 2, 2, 1, 4, 5, 1,
Thrusters
8,
online.
1, Niner.
Thrusters offline.
Papa, Delta, Victor, Tango, Oscar, Delta, India, Juliet, Kilo, Hotel, Kilo, Golf, Kilo, Tango, Papa,
Hey, Gandalf, welcome to the stream.
Papa, Bravo, Romeo, Juliet, India, Golf, Alpha, Delta, Quebec, Delta, Victor, Quebec,
Alright, here comes our system name.
Alpha,
It should be Sierra Bravo Lima 16440.
Bravo, Lima, 1, 6, 4, 4, 0.
It is. Okay. So we are now effectively done with getting these signals.
Thrusters online.
Bravo, Juliet,
Scan detected.
Let's just dodge that security Viper. It's following me pretty hard, actually. Okay, now it's out of range.
Frameshift drive charging.
Hey, Comprodigy, welcome to this to the stream. Yeah, I can kind of understand that, Gandalf. Especially if any static chirps come up during that, Okay, we're not going to make that jump. We're just going to go ahead and be sneaky and just go straight to the next system. Because the game is being cheeky and not realizing that we don't have 6 less tons of fuel in our cargo. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up Chrome for a minute here. I'm going to check the list of Thargoid structures as known by Canon. The folks at Canon have a list of Thargoid structures, and I'll show this off for a brief moment. Once we enter the system and start heading towards the planet. Ooh, Fat Star. Where to? We're going to planet... Let's have another look. B1A. 27,000 light seconds. I hate long trips. Oh, well. If nothing else, it gives me time to show off the Thargoid structure sheet. So this, make sure my scene's set correctly. Okay, yeah, it is. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the list of known Thargoid structures according to Canon. So we are currently in the system of HIP 22743. So let's look that up real quick. So HIP 22743. Here it is. So it is this one right here, Thargoid Structure 105. So the folks at Canon were kind enough to point out the planetary coordinates of the Thargoid structure. So that way when we go to it, we don't have to go scavenger hunting. Very true, Macubus. It could have been 400,000 light seconds, and I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 structures that fit that classification. But yes, basically how these structures were found back in the old days is that before the Eagle Eye system was developed, these Thargoid structures would still have a puzzle available, at least the active ones would. And once completing the puzzle, you were given 3 signals that if you played in front of a Thargoid link, the Thargoid link, which is this puppy right here, would act as a GPS, allowing you to triangulate the location, the rough location of that structure. It will at least give you the system it's in. It does not necessarily give you the planet. Although if you play that corresponding signal in the correct system, the link will act as a laser pointer and point towards the target. We will be doing this in Phase 4 of the Eagle Eye translations. This is going to basically be what happens after we find all of our signals. Interestingly, we weren't able to get the GPS signals from one of the Thargoid structures, and that would be this one. So Thargoid Structure 228. The reason being is by the time this one was discovered, this one was actually discovered by an Eagle Eye satellite, as in it wasn't known to the public until until Eagle Eye pointed it out. So by the time we found this structure, no new Thargoid messages were available, so it didn't point us to other Thargoid structures like the previous one did. And this one over here, all the way in Outot's STID 96, that was discovered when one of the Thargoid signals from Eagle Eye on the week of the Gnosis Cone Sector attack, well, Cone Sector quote-unquote attack, that was discovered when one of the link signals pointed towards the planet 2A. That planet had 1 Thargoid structure and 2 barnacle forests on the same planet. Oh yeah, Cubus, I know what barnacle forest you're talking about too. I guess I might as well show that off since we have a few minutes. I believe it is this barnacle forest. I think it's this one. It's either this one or Forest 3. No, it's Forest 3. The one that I've got marked, at least. Yeah, I think I remember that Hades sector designation. Yep. Well, actually, no, this is 131,000 light seconds. Still a royal pain. Was this one in a better spot? Nowadays, I don't go to either of these barnacle forests. I go to the double barnacle here, if I need to farm meta-alloys in Pleiades Sector OI-T C3-7. It's a very conveniently placed double barnacle, and it's right next to, there are 5 meta-alloys per load. So, plenty of space to go ahead and, or plenty of meta-alloys to farm there quickly. Believe me, I farmed the living daylights out of that spot when Dantech Enterprise was UA bombed, because what happened, for those who are not aware, a couple of weeks before 3.2 came out, Dantech Enterprise was UA bombed, which originally was the station that Aegis Corps owned, I should say. At least it was owned until a pirate faction took over it. But later down the road, the station got UA bombed. And what happened was, when the station got UA bombed, Eagle Eye could not receive its data from Dantech Enterprise, and for that week, Eagle Eye's messages all read the word system error. So we basically had no Eagle Eye data for both those days, and somehow folks were able to still find out where the Thargoid targets were via other means. So the systems were still defended. Speaking of defended, how did that play out this week? There were no starport attacks this week. Very nice. If I am not mistaken, the 2 starport attacks queued up for last week was the Argestas, the starport in the Argestas system, and another one in an HR system, if I recall correctly. HR11... It was one of the HR systems, and it started with 11, and it was 4 digits. That much I remember. But both of the stations were successfully defended last week because of enough Thargoids were destroyed in the same system. Yes, Sensore. UGP, I think it's UGP 145 is the system name. Which reminds me, I don't have repairing starports on my visibility display. That's weird. Yeah, here it is, UGP 145. That is currently the last known starport to be attacked, and that was, I believe, 3 weeks ago, if not 2 weeks ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago. But yeah, we've been doing pretty good on holding off Thargoid attacks. So, our planetary coordinates, as mentioned previously, are 16 by minus 53. Let me put those in the chat box so you guys can see them. There you go. So we are fairly close on the excuse me, got the hiccups this morning. We're fairly close on the latitude, but we need to traverse a little bit on the longitude. So we need to go north and east. So this way. Mostly east. Alright, so now we need to start breaking off. And we need to actually come to a full stop because we're overshooting. So, 16. So we're at 16. Now we just gotta backpedal a little bit to get to minus 53. We actually may be able to see the Thargoid structure now. How far are we away from 16? So if we take a look to our left, if we're lucky and the planetary lighting cooperates with us, we should see a green pinwheel in Super Cruise. It's not that, that's a crater. So now we're about to approach 53. So now if we look to the south a little bit, it's probably in this crater right here. In fact, let's drop out here. I think it might be in this crater. Sometimes planetary lighting may not cooperate with you and give you the visual cue you need to see the Thargoid structure.
Capacity exceeded.
Let's see. It should be right there. A nice visual cue when you're in normal space is the yellow glow and the green fog. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to HIP 22743B1A, the Thargoid Structure.
Landing gear deployed.
Alright, let's go check the place out. And we are going to take with us 2 items. We are going to take a Thargoid, a Thargoid sensor and a Thargoid probe.
Gravity warning. Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Let's have a peek inside. You only need a Thargoid probe or sensor or a Thargoid link to enter this base. You do not need a... you will not be able to enter without having at least one of those 3 items in your inventory. Just going to clear that message, because that just tells you that we got the system data. This base has secondary doors, so it is considered a Class 3 structure. So you can see that we have this central structure here with these 3 receptacles. This one is asking for a Thargoid link, so we cannot help it right now. This one here is asking for the Thargoid probe. So we will give it that said probe. And here they're asking for the sensor, so we'll give it the sensor. And now we're going to acquire a Thargoid link. Now, I don't want to go all the way back to my ship and get one. Instead, I'm just going to get one from inside the structure. There are 12 Thargoid links inside any active Thargoid structure. So there's plenty of ways to get these, or plenty of them to get, I should say. I usually don't want to have any less than 4, because the way I play the game, I'm very liable to accidentally lose one due to ramming into it or being slow with decoding the sounds. These secondary doors, I should point out, these secondary doors, I should point out, do not require any Thargoid cargo to access. These open whether you have anything in your inventory or not. Ow. So, we're going to give this the Thargoid link. And you will see the central structure has lit up. We're going to scan it. And behold, the best alien light show in the history of Elite Dangerous. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, so what you see here, honestly, we still don't know what it is. We believe it's an image of the galaxy, but we're not sure what these stars represent, or explicitly where they are. I don't think we've tried superimposing. I think we have tried superimposing this over the galaxy, but it's still pretty tough to figure this out, especially since some of the star blobs are really, really large. And they look like they can encompass multiple systems. But what this basically is, we think it's a sort of Thargoid map. Well, it's obviously a Thargoid map. It's pretty likely to be a Thargoid map. It's one of those. And so, we think this is like where all known Thargoid inhabitants / known Thargoid inhabitations may be. So, like, there might be a Thargoid structure, there might be a random interceptor lying around. We honestly have no idea. We still can't figure this out yet. So there's been a lot of mystery involved into what this map represents. This goes on for about 2 minutes. Yeah, we're not even sure if these are even stars. Now, if we can get right up to the center, I should call a brightness warning. Yeah, it gets really bright in there. And you can see now that the stars are beginning to fade out. And the device has reset. Now, something that scanning the data uplink node earlier and the central structure does is it actually reveals the unknown structure on the nav panel. So when I come back to this place later, we'll have what we need. I am only going to be taking the Thargoid probe and link back to the ship. We don't need to keep the sensor, and I don't want to take 2 trips. Because that takes time, and we have things to do. Yoink. Let me out. There we go. So this should put 5 Thargoid links into our inventory, which should be more than enough to do what we need to do for the rest of the morning. And any corrosion we do sustain is automatically healed once we board the ship. So you can see we got 2 unknown signals from this Thargoid structure. We are now going to... oh, that's a nebula. We are now going to head to the next Thargoid structure, which is in HIP 20785. So we got a little bit of a trek ahead of us. Well, not really. It's actually only 1 jump. I think we can do it in 1 jump. Oh yeah, we can totally do that in 1 jump. I hope. Ah, we need another one. Oopsie. At this point, I'm not doing any more speedruns in the near future, so I don't need to concern myself with synthesis usage yet. So yeah, let's just go ahead and skip that first jump. I do want to hold on to my grade 3 synthesis because we are coming up on the Fallen Commander expedition. It is actually 2 Saturdays from today. So it's actually going to be in 9 days. And I will be participating in that. For those who are not aware of what the Fallen Commander expedition is, the Fallen Commander expedition is an expedition that will be taking place on Saturday, October 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It is an expedition to the Owl Nebula, which I will show on screen in just a moment. As soon as I lock the planet and structure into my sensors here. There we go. The Owl Nebula is all the way down, if I could find it, here. Or it's all the way up here, I should say. GCRV 6897. This was previously unreachable until the Guardian FSD booster was released. And the next nearest system is 149-ish light years away. Almost 150. So in order to get into GCRV 6897, you need a synthesis boost of... a grade 3 synthesis boost at a minimum jump range of 74 point, I believe, 73 light years. Ooh, interesting theory, Prodigy. A negative Thargoid galaxy. But yeah, I'll be participating in that expedition on the 13th. It's going to start at Barnard's Star, and it's going to go to the Owl Nebula. And it's going to go to the Commander Brutal Deluxe Memorial, which I recently, semi-recently, I didn't bookmark it, actually. I didn't bookmark it, but it's one of the, it's in the Okors region. So it's basically somewhere down, not here. Why did I bookmark this system? Now I'm curious. Why did I bookmark this? Did I just bookmark it by accident? Oh, yeah, this is a system that I wanted to get to because, oh, wait, it's already marked as discovered. Oh, yeah, I must have not gotten rid of this bookmark a long time ago. This was a system I wanted to check off camera because it was untagged and it had some good stuff, including a water world, ammonia worlds. No, it's had 2 water worlds. That's why I was interested in picking them up. One of them was terraformable. I was like, why do I have that bookmarked? Also, I'm overshooting the structure again. Now, there are NHSSs in the system by the looks of it, based on the high-frequency signal sources that are popping up all over the place. But now the reason I was able to target the unknown, the Thargoid structure so far away is because, for whatever reason, if a uninhabited ground structure is directly in front of you, you can use the next target button, or select your next forward target button, to select the Thargoid structure. And this works at any distance. But it only works on uninhabited ground locations, such as tourist beacons, guardian structures, Thargoid structures, stuff like that. It does not work for inhabited structures, like ground bases. So, a little tidbit for you there on targeting. We're still actually going a little too fast. There we go.
Orbital flight engaged.
I'm gonna turn the music up a little bit since we don't have any sound concerns we need to worry about right at the moment. It is a little quiet. That's better. Alright, here is our second Thargoid structure.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
You might have saw a green pinwheel in front of your screen as we were approaching the structure. That's the Super Cruise visual effect that the planet gives you that there's a Thargoid structure there. It's actually kind of how I discovered the Thargoid structure in an Outtots STI D9-6 back in the day. Because I noticed that pinwheel as I was trying to follow a link signal.
Landing gear deployed.
Hello, Darth Vader. Welcome to the stream. Come on. Alright, so we want a sensor and a probe once again.
Low gravity warning.
And this time I'm going to actually take the sensor and the probe and the link, just the probe back, I should say. I don't need to take a link with me this time. These scavengers do not go hostile by colliding with them like that. They only go hostile if you shoot at something in the structure. What do you seek? You seek the probe. The order is always the same in each puzzle. If you go clockwise, it is always probe, sensor, link. And this is another Class 3 structure because of these secondary doors. And this time we're not going to wait for the galaxy cutscene to play out, we're just going to head straight back to the ship. For clarification, I don't think the light show needs to be displayed completely before the interceptor event can trigger. I think it can trigger anytime after you've picked up the signals. Because that seems to have been how it worked when I got the interceptor trigger to happen. So yeah, we're just going to take the probe and head straight back out. Because we do not need the spare link, and we don't need a spare sensor. No interceptor trigger. You'll know right away if the interceptor trigger actually does happen because it happens as soon as the lights come back on. So one more try to get that today. It'd be nice if we can get that, and I would say pull a hat trick, but there needs to be a third Thargoid random interceptor event to happen for that to be called a hat trick. But we already got one hyperdiction today. Good lord, that music is creepy. Right, next stop is going to be HIP 16440. It should be on our way, actually. Yep, it is, right here. 78 light years out. This one I know for a fact we can get with a G1 jump. Yes, Sensory. Typically, you get power play merits from killing, specifically in their own systems. You get points for merits for killing the control ship, the target ships, and the defender ships. Actually, you just verified that it works for other factions as well. I thought it only worked for Archon Delane at first. I actually need to do some power play upkeep. I haven't paid any attention to my power play in a couple of weeks, mainly because I've been focused on Guardian speedruns and all that other mumbo-jumbo. Where is our Thargoid structure again? Planet 1E, which is, if we could find it, right there. So let's target the structure. So, once we get our last set of signals, this will conclude Phase 2 of the Eagle Eye operations, and then we're going to move on to the sound analysis phase, and that is my favorite part. Oops. Coming in just a bit too fast. It has to be a power contact in a system that your faction controls. So, for example, Sensor A, what's your faction right now? Or actually, you can see a list of your factions in the powers panel, and look at the control tab for your faction. That'll give you the control systems. The control system should be on the bottom. And hey, Panthole Watch, welcome to the stream. I don't know. It wouldn't be necessarily Akinar. Here, I'll show you real quick while we're gliding down. So you're allied with Aisling Duval. So her control systems would be here. So these are all her control systems. She has a lot. She's a really popular faction considering her power play item is the prismatic shielding. And that is considered very popular among bounty hunters and PvPers alike. Does she actually have... Is Akinar one of her control systems? No, it is not. Anyway, to the Thargoid structure. And once again, you can kind of make it out, but there's a bit of a green pinwheel directly in front of your screen that is indicative of the Thargoid structure.
Exceeded.
So yeah, any of those systems that you just saw previously would have a power contact that would allow you to claim the merits. And that would actually put the merits into your inventory. Now, as you noticed, I was at rating 2, which is an indication that I'm falling behind. It would appear that the lighting has just flipped out on me for a little bit. There we are. Good day, Don. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you, Don. Haven't seen you in a while. Alright, let's take another sensor and probe. And this time I'm going to take the sensor and probe back to the ship. I'm not going to take a link. I want to have a couple of spare items in my cargo, just in case a pirate demands them. I can just buy them off with the spare items. The one thing I'm not willing to compromise on is the Thargoid links. And another Class 3 base. BGS in Colonia, very nice. Yes, folks, Don is one of PA's big, Colonia. That's not the right item. Although that did just verify my theory that if you accidentally deposit the wrong item, the receptacle does not take it. Why did I do that? I haven't had my morning, I haven't had my, midday drink yet. My midday, soda. So I'm a little off. That's the one that wants the probe. Let's go grab a link, and as mentioned previously, you do not need any cargo to get past these doors. The inner doors, I should say. The outer doors you can get out from without cargo, but you need cargo to get back in. Alternatively, you could lay a Thargoid sensor or probe in front of the door and have it act as a doorstop. Takes a little bit of practice, though, because you have to deal with the incline of the ground in front of the doorway. And I'm not bothering to scan the Thargoid uplink nodes because I already have this location logged on the nav panel. Okay, that's out of our way. Let's get our last set of signals. Very true, Don. Nowadays, I have a few methods of getting places quickly as well, from Guardian and Thargoid space as well. There's a couple of very conveniently placed neutron stars. So yeah, we're going to take the probe and the sensor back to the ship. I'm not going to take the link. Where's the Thargoid sensor? There it is. Excuse me. A little audio detail I do like about this location is that your COVAS does actually struggle a little bit in this area. Like, whenever you're near any Thargoid presence, it sort of stutters and hiccups a little bit. That is a very nice auditory detail. And no interceptor. I wish, Sensei, I wish. Ooh, nice. All of your material hoppers are full. That would take me way too much time to actually pull off. There's a ship here.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on.
Just a moment. We must observe this. There's a ship here. Most likely what it's doing is it's guarding some cargo that was loaded in. Yeah, you can see it right here. This little Viper, is guarding some cargo that is somewhere. And apparently this thing just tried to give me, like, shield data, but it's my storage is full, so I could go ahead and get into the SRV and blow this thing up right now, but I don't feel like it. He's lucky he lives today. And the Thargoids can chew him out later.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Ugh, glad to be out of that place. Music in there is creepy. Alright, folks, let me load up a few things here, and we are going to get to the Phase 3 of our Eagle Eye work this afternoon. Or no, it's still this morning, actually. It's only 10:42 a.m. And we are going to be listening to some Thargoid link beats, or Thargoid link signals. Oh yeah, I do that all the time too, Don. I've just been intermittently engineering ships every once in a while, so my materials end up getting spent. We're gonna pull away from the planet for a little while, just so that way we can pass the gravitational pull of the planet. I want to generally be in the vicinity of the gas giant instead of in the vicinity of the planet. So we're gonna pull away till we're about almost a light second away. We are now flagged as in the vicinity of the gas giant, so yeah, now's a good time to stop. So, we're going to drop out here.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Let me load my Word document. Actually, let me copy... Oh, I'll just copy it over from here. So, what I need to do is drop a Thargoid link. Now, if you want to help yourself out a little bit, you can offset the Thargoid link's jettison speed by ascending at roughly 35 meters per second. Like so. And you can see the link is now barely moving, but we are going to slow it down a little bit with the help of our cockpit. I'm taking pips out of engine, so my acceleration is slower. So we're going to get right up to the Thargoid link. And we're going to give it a little tap. Or it's just going to, fly... Oh, we did give it a tap. It was literally right touching my cockpit as I did that. Okay, so we gave it a little tap. It's almost at a full stop. Now, the link is deteriorating, so we're actually on a bit of a time limit here. What we need to do is position ourselves very specifically in front of the Thargoid link's deflector dish and play down a Thargoid signal. I'm going to shut up for a minute and let you guys hear the link and appropriate response. I'm going to play down the signal again because I wasn't in an optimal position. Much better. So, we're going to pick the link up a little bit because I need to do some talking. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so what you've just heard was a series of high and low chirps with an occasional little dolphin chirp-like noise in the middle, every once in a while. So, what the Thargoid link does when you play down a signal in front of it is it delivers these high and low chirps, which I've just marked in my Word document here. And these, the dolphin chirp acts as a separator in between what is essentially 3 pairs of numbers. So you hear binary chirps, and you need to translate the binary code, the high and low chirps into binary numbers. the highs translate as zeros and the lows translate as ones. So if we go into a calculator, go to its programmer mode, and select binary, typically Windows 10 calculators come standard with this, we can now translate these numbers. So the first number was a low, low, high, low, high, low. So the decimal value of that number is 53. So we're going to mark 53. And the separator is the divider sign right here. And the other number is high, low, 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 high, low, high. 250. So 53 over 250. And that gives us a value of 0.212, I should say. Now we're going to now translate the other two numbers. So the next number is high, low, high, 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 high. 16. And that's divided by high, high, low, 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 high, low. 125. And that translates to let's scoot that down a little bit. Scoot it this way, actually. 0.128. Our final number, this is the longer one. Typically, this number is the longer one. High, high, low, high, 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 low, low, high, low, low, low. 567. Divided by, and the last one is low, 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 high, low, high, high, 500. And that translates roughly to, or translates exactly to, I should say, 1.134. So we have some numbers from these binary codes. The problem is the numbers are in Thargoid units, so this does not help us right now. We, however, can translate them into human light years. And here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to load up another Word document here with my guide. So it was a long time ago, it was determined that a Thargoid unit of distance is around 871.018 light years. And the reason we figured this out is because the Thargoid probe has a fifth number that it chirps out when it's near a planet every once in a while. And that fifth number is the distance from Merope to a very specific Col 70 system. In this specific case, Col 70 sector FYN C21-3. Because of this, we have a rough translation for a Thargoid distance unit. So what we will now do is we will take that number value, 871.018, and store it into memory. We can now then translate our Thargoid distance figures. So we'll multiply this one by 0.212. That gives us 184.66 light years. The next distance code was 0.128, and that gives us a distance of 111.49. The final number is 1.134. Multiply that by our distance value, and we get a value of 987.73 light years. So what these are basically triangulation numbers. These numbers give us distances from something based on the order in which we got the numbers. And how we figure that out is with the help of audio recording technology, which I do not have, so in light of this, I will just show you this image instead. When you play down this signal, if you look on Audacity or any audio recording program, it can convert this particular sound into a spectrogram, which allows you to sort of see the sound, if it makes any sense. So what happens is, this is the image you get when you play that signal down. What this is your instruction manual for interpreting the distance figures for the Thargoid link. On the left, we have the system of Merope as designated by star, asteroid belt, gas giant 4 moons, gas giant 4 moons, gas giant with a planet and 3 moons, and get 2 gas giants, 3 moons. I think that's a gas giant. I gotta double check that later. But that system on the left is what Merope looks like. Up here, we have the originating system where the signal is coming out of, as denoted by the hollow dot on the top, and this is where the signal is going to. The target system is denoted by the solid dot. This system on the right is what we think Col 70 FYN C21-3 is going to look like once we eventually get the ability to go in there. So these numbers in the center, these are binary numbers. So on the left you have a high, low, or 001, 010, which is 2, and 011, which is 3. So based on the image you see here, the way we now translate these signals is the signal on the left, the first number, rather, is the distance from the target system to the Merope system. The second figure is the distance from the target to the originating system. The third is the distance from the target to Col 70. So we now have a rough translation of how to triangulate the Thargoid signals. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Google Chrome for a second, and I'm going to show you this. I'm going to just go ahead and link the... I'm actually going to link the site, the URL to the site in the game chat so you guys can see it for a minute. So if you go to that link right there, that is the link to the triangulator that most of us use these days to try and triangulate where the signals are going. What we do is we take the system the signal came out of, in this case HIP 16440, and put that here in lowercase letters. And we hit search. I think I may have made a mistake somewhere. List indices must be integers or slices, not str. Is there an extra space in there that should not be there? Low, low, high. Low, high, low. Separator. Is it 1664 or 16... Oh, it's 16440. Oh, that's why. I misentered the system. Let's try that again. There we go. So, you will see that the triangulator gave us a system with an average error value. So what this does is it processes the 3 values we were given. It locates the galactic coordinates of the originating system, in this case, minus 74, minus 133, minus 267. What it then does is it finds the intersection point between 3 spheres generated by the systems of Merope, Col 70, and HIP 16440. When 3 spheres overlap, they can only intersect at 2 points. So what this does is it finds the systems that are near those 2 intersect points as marked by those galactic coordinates. In this case, you can see a list of candidates that were given. The one that closely matches the one we were trying to go for is this one right here, HIP 12099. If I could find it, here it is. So it had a very low error value for Merope, fairly high error value for HIP 16440 and a fairly moderate error value for Col 70, hence why it was picked. So we're going to look up HIP 12099 real quick. Oops, no, Control V. There we go. HIP 12099. Now, this is an uninhabited star system, but that does not necessarily mean that there's nothing there, as I've learned this over the course of the last couple of weeks. It is possible that this is an INRA base, or a ground base. The latest pattern for the Thargoid link signals has been 2 INRA bases, 2 starports, 1 random megaship that's in the Autots region that keeps moving, even though it's damaged, and the Gnosis. That's what it's been. So we're going to mark HIP 12099 as our first location to check. So signal 1 is going to be HIP 12099. Right? Yeah. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm actually going to... I have 6 tabs open. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put the system names in all of the tabs. What's going to happen is I'm going to rapid fire all of the... I'm going to rapid fire all of the remaining signals at once before the link runs out of HP. And so that way we don't have to constantly drop links every once in a while. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link, try to get into optimal position right away. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jettison and place signal 1 immediately. So that way, while the link is chirping away, I can get into position here. Oh. Oh, there it goes. What, are you on a delay or something? We got a little bit of time to get in position here. Oh, actually, not the best orientation. Now, I need to also target this thing. And shut the cargo scoop off. Alright, now we have time to get in position. Okay, so let's hurry up and start rapid firing through these. Since we just got into optimal position. So this is going to be the second signal. Now, there's one specific set of Marobin Col 70 codes that I'm looking for. Because I want to prove that I'm psychic. Alright, where did that one point us to? The Nowney system. That system has definitely been targeted before. We will get to that in a moment, and I need to go to... I need to see something. Oh, you know what? I can't see it because it's not on my... Just a minute, folks. Quick trip back to the ED scene while I find out who that was. And Chauffeur, thank you for the host. Welcome to the stream. How are you folks all doing this morning? Let's play down signal 3. How are we doing on link health? I'll have to check later. Alright, here's the next one. This one's definitely closer to the Pleiades. That Merope number in particular is very low. Your game stopped working. Sorry to hear that, chauffeur. Where's that taking us? HIP 19792. I think that's an INRA base. Alright. Let's play down signal 4. How are we doing on link HP? 45%. We can do this. Is my ship yawing up by itself? Yeah, it is. Let's fix that. Low, high, low. Low, low, low. High, low, low. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. High, high, high. Low, high, high. Low, low, low. Low, low, low. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. High, high, high. This was probably towards the bubble. High, low, high. High, high, high. Low, high, low. Low, low, low. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. High, high, high. Alrighty. You pointed us at the Otherny system. I don't recognize that one. That must be a new starport target. Or maybe it's a starport target. We'll check those all out later. In the meantime, let's play down signal 5. Now, it's around here that I'm looking for a very specific Merope and Cole 70 code. Alright, here we go. High, low, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. High, high, high. Low, high, high. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. Okay, so it wasn't in this particular combo. Low, high, high. High, low, low. This is more towards the bubble. And that gave us the ball system. That's another previous target. That might be an INRA base. I'm not sure. Let's play down signal 6. Do we have enough? No, we do not have enough HP to pull that off. Alright, so you know what? While we're getting reset here, let's check this other systems out real quick. So let's take a quick peek at the Nowney system. So the Nowney system is actually right here. It's right around the corner. And it is the location of the Aegis Vanguard. Interesting. Balfoy Vision. That was a starport that was also targeted at one point. Now, I think it was targeted at one point. I could be wrong, actually. There is a gas giant with ammonia-based life, but I think it's more... If I had to hazard a guess, this is pointing at the Vanguard. Because sometimes the Aegis megaships could be targeted as well by the Thargoid links. So the other system on our list of places to check was HIP 19792. Oh wow, the Cole 70 number was almost a perfect 0-1, perfect 1.0. That would have been hilarious if it was. So this... I don't remember what this is, but I've obviously been in here before. It's going to be a planet I've already checked, so it's probably C2, if I had to hazard a guess. So we'll check that later too. This next one is the Otherny system. That's much more back towards the bubble. Now this has a... I believe that's an ammonia world. Yeah, that is definitely an ammonia world. And a starport. Typically, Ammonia world with a starport in the system indicates starport is the target, but we will verify this in a little bit. And our last location is the Ball system. Which is pretty high populated. It is the Aegis Acropolis' current location. No ammonia worlds. So, more likely than not, this is pointing at the Acropolis. We shall see. In the meantime, let's determine the last location. Ooh, that was a really good jettison. The link's almost not moving. Let me just play down a signal so we can, quiet, cargo scoop.
Retracted.
I'm just gonna play down signal 1 so that way we can get into position. The link is already not moving, so we can just go ahead and start doing that now. There's a distinct hum in the low chirp. That makes it easier for me to hear it without any audio recording software. Alright, this is the last signal. And this is going to be the last chance I have to see if if I can prove that I'm psychic. All likelihood, actually, now that I think about it, that's probably not going to happen. Low, high, low. High, low, low. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. High, high, high. Okay, so yeah, it's not targeting what I think it's targeting. Low, low, high. High, high, low. High, high, low. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. High, high, high. So this is probably towards the bubble. High, low, high. High, low, high. High, high, low. High, high, low. Separator. High, high, low. Low, low, low. Low, high, low. High, high, high. I don't know what it said about your mother, Skylorns, but it does know how to drop a beat. And that leads to the system of LDS 883, average error of 0.3. Typically, an average error below 0.4 is more than likely aiming at the correct location. It did not copy. There we go. That's what I was going for. LDS 883, what is in your system, sir? You contain a lot of things, for one thing. You contain an ELW, a ton of stuff over there, an ammonia world, and a starport. Alright, so I'm inclined to believe that all 6 triangulations are accurate this time around. So let's list those down real quick. So we listed that one. Signal 2 was pointed at the Nowney system. Signal 3 was pointed at HIP 19792. Signal 3 was pointed at the Otherny system. Signal 5 is pointed at the Ball system. And Signal 6 is pointed at LDS 883. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all of our distance figures and systems calculated. So we are going to take this before we lose it. And we are going to... I'm debating how I want to go about this. We're going to go first to the... let's see, we're going to go to HIP 19792 first, because that's the closest. That's kind of... It's actually in the opposite direction towards the bubble, so we're going to go there first.
Frameshift drive charging.
My fuel scoop is turned on, right? Or it will be once I enter superpowers. Even though it's deactivated now, once the point defense turrets and heat sinks turn off when I'm in super cruise, then the fuel scoop will turn right back on. Hey, Eric G, welcome to the stream. Alright, T-Tory Star.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, I've been to this system before, so I'm very curious to know what the Thargoid link is pointing to that I've seen already.
4, 3, 2.
Alright, full stop. Target planet C2 for a second. What is there? Betterton Outpost. That is a Aegis base, actually. We're gonna come to a full stop for a second.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the Thargoid link again. And I'm gonna play for you Signal 3, because I think that's the one that pointed to this system. Was it 3? Yeah, it was 3. So, assuming this is the correct signal, when played in front of the Thargoid link, it does this. Turns to a laser pointer. And you can see it is trying, at least, to aim at Betterton Outpost. I think this is the Mercy dialogue, if I recall correctly. Because I know this link has targeted Betterton Outpost multiple times.
Cargo scoop deployed.
I almost accidentally shattered the link there.
Frameshift drive charging.
So we will go to Betterton Outpost just to show it off real quick, but I'm not going to go download the data logs because I've already shown them off in the past. Luckily, there's no pirates chasing after us. That is one thing that's a bit of a pain to deal with when you're trying to get the link to point somewhere, is that suddenly a pirate's going to drop out in front of you and force you to improvise. Normally, I'm packing collector limpets, but I left those at Asterope. I'm actually going to go pick those up as soon as I'm finished at Betterton Outpost, since Asterope is on the way to Nowney. I think Nowney's going to be our next stop. Actually, no, I think HIP 12099 is our next stop. It's either HIP 12099 or Nowney. But yeah, I'm just going to go to whichever system is nearest to Asterope next. Now, just going back and the evidence that I'm no longer psychic, what I thought one of the signals was going to do was point at the Gnosis. The Gnosis, for those who are not aware, tried to jump into a permit-locked region of space in the beginning of September, but was immediately hyperdicted by Thargoids and didn't even make it 13 light years. Ever since the week before, a Thargoid signal has always pointed at the Gnosis until today. So it seems the Thargoids have finally stopped and let go of the Gnosis. The Gnosis is now all the way out in the Out-Tops region, instead of the Out-Tots region, so it's now in a much different location. And just to verify that I'm not missing something here, or that the link isn't slightly offset by another target, we're going to drop out really quick and just drop it to and we're going to verify 100% that it's pointing at Betterton Outpost. Oh dear. That was a mistake. It's a good thing the laser pointer still works. I have got a real speed perception problem today, it would seem. There we go. Now we're almost lined up properly. So yeah, it is pointed at Betterton Outpost, so we will be going there next. Just to show it off real quick. This planet's gravity must be really heavy if the link is already running away from me this fast. Like I said, normally I'm running collector limpets, but they're currently not installed. I have them. I'll pick them up when I get to Astro. Something tells me I'll be doing a couple of planetary checkups. Ideally, I prefer to not lose this link, but if it happens, it happens. Okay, we got it.
Friendships drive Charlie. 4, 3, 2.
I have spares just in case, but even still. There's a reason I hold on to a lot of them. Because normally I end up crashing into one and it blowing up. And yeah, you can see the planetary gravity is already going up at a semi-sizable pace, so this is probably going to be like a 0.8 G planet or something. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, this is Betterton Outpost right here. So the Thargoid link signals will occasionally point to... the links can point to anything, but they can point to damaged bases, they can point to damaged megaships, they can point to the Aegis megaships, they can point to... they almost always point to starports. There was one exception, and that was on the day... that was on the day of the Decoding invasion. Basically, all six Thargoid signals pointed to 6 different locations in the Decoding system. There were like 4 damaged megaships. One pointed towards Decoding 4 for whatever reason. I can't remember what the 6th signal pointed at. I want to say it was a barnacle force, but I don't think that was the case. So you can see there are a couple of ships in the system checking the place out. Oh dear. Full pips in the systems.
Taking damage.
That's what happens when you don't account for gravity properly. So yeah, folks, this is Betterton Outpost. This is one of the Aegis bases that was attacked semi-recently. These bases became available when 3.2, I believe, came out. Was it 3.2? No, it was 3.1, excuse me. I don't remember if there are materials at these bases.
Landing gear deployed.
It would help if my shields were up first before I attempted this, but I'm in a hurry. Alright, shields just came back up. There's a golden outcrop in the vicinity, but it's not on my to-pick-up list. So we're just going to drive around, check the place out. Something else is in the system now, too. It's a Cobra, and it's leaving. So, what happens at these stations is if you interact with these settlement comms log uplinks, they will give you the backstory behind this base. As I said, I've shown this off on stream previously, so I'm not going to bother doing this now. But I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me correctly, that Betterton Outpost gives the Mercy dialogue, where it's a rare case where all of the inhabitants of the base were not wiped out. Some inhabitants actually survived. In fact, I'm going to actually go on the Canon website right now and verify real quick that that is actually where it's pointing at. And let's ascend a little bit. Oh, there's no question in my mind that's what's doing the Prodigy. The Thargoids are not stupid. They know exactly what they're after, and they know exactly how they're going to get it. Or at least they think they know how they're going to get it.
4, 3, 2, 1,
And I was correct. This is, in fact, the Mercy dialogue that is given at this particular port. Our next location is going to be... Well, we're going to go to Asterope, because we're going to pick up the collector limpets off my... we're going to pick up my collector limpets after we get around the planet. Alright, so yep, Asterope is our next stop.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, the reason I picked Asterope specifically is because the starport there is right next to the star, and there's no orbiting body around the starport, so you can approach the starport from an increased speed. Basically, it's just a faster port to get in and out of. It's still under repair, though, but it does have the ability to refuel, and it has the ability to house my stuff. And that's what's most important. Yeah, that's... If only that was a thing, Mr. Wickenfire. Because, yeah, we don't have time travel in this game. We have witch space, we have hyperspace, but we don't have time travel.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Next stop, start dropping here, and you can see again, almost a 10 megameter per second drop range and drop speed, so we can just drop into this port so much faster compared to the others.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Lakon, Mike Delta 0. Please submit a landing request on approach, Commander.
And actually, I just remembered,
directly for Bay 1-2.
I actually have another long, even faster jumper socked away here. So let's go grab that real quick, assuming I don't die right now. Okay, good. I missed the landing bay doors. Where's the pad? There it is.
Due to a major incident, this facility is So as it turns out, I left my jumper Anaconda here, and the jumper Anaconda is equipped with a corrosion-resistant cargo rack. So I'm actually going to load up that Anaconda instead.
And I'm going to slap the collector limpets onto the Anaconda, because I no longer need to be in specific positions to do anything, since the link signal will now no longer require my position. It'll just require that I be able to see the laser pointer. I can focus more on getting to places quickly with the enhanced jump range on the Anaconda. So that's not what I wanted to select right now. So yeah, some lightweight collector limpets. I'm going to slap those on real quick. Double check that my power management is still within acceptable limits. The only thing that should be shut off is the fuel scoop. And then those two should cycle. Yes, perfect. And yeah, we're set up properly. So our next stop, I think, is going to be the Nowney system. Actually, wait, no, I think HIP 199 is closer by just a smidge. Actually, they're both relatively in the same spot.
Landing gear retracted.
Whatever's up there is not that thing, right? Nope, that thing is. Whatever happened to give way to larger vessels? Excuse me. I'm in a hurry. I got things to do. Science to be done. So we have now entered Phase 4 of the Eagle Eye sequence, which is tracking, identifying and locating the targets the link signals are pointing to. And so that's just about the last thing we're going to be doing this morning.
Frameshift drive charging.
You have left the no-fire zone. Be careful out there, Commander.
4, 3, 2, fuel scooping. Frameshift drive charging.
I probably could have G1 synthed my way past one of those systems, but oh well, it's not a big deal. And I do apologize if I sound a little stuffy. I am just recovering from a cold. It's just wrapping up at this point, so
3, 2,
I should be fully recovered within another day or two.
fuel scooping. Frameshift drive charging.
So, what's so special about HIP 12099, and have I been there before? No, I have not.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, we actually don't have any intel on what's in this system, so
Fuel scooping.
we're going to have to do this the
Fuel
hard
scoop
way.
disengaged.
Luckily, however, there doesn't appear to be a pirate in the vicinity. If there was, we would have already seen it. Which signal are we interpreting right now? This is going to be signal 1. Now, of course, the Anaconda's a little tougher to maneuver than the Diamondback, so I need to be a little bit more careful. The thrusters are also very loud on this thing, but thankfully we're not interpreting sound anymore, so it doesn't really matter. And there's our laser pointer. Sometimes the link can be struggling a little bit, and it will just go do its own thing for a little bit. it appears to be pointing at that particular cluster of planets, which is not there. There. Okay, so now we have our destination.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Untarget that, please.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is essentially how this is what the Eagle Eye folks do every week, is they interpret these signals and they try and find the Thargoid points of interest, even if they're repeats.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
No, Deno-sign. I've been perfectly fine all morning. Are we talking about, don't answer that. But yeah, I've had no connection issues all morning. Now, granted, I've been doing this in solo today, and the reason I do my Thargoid science in solo is because there's a large quantity of actions required that require me to stay put. And in open play, that's just too dangerous. Even if I had the ability to defend myself, I still can't stay put to get the signals if I'm constantly evading pirates and other players. So for that reason, I do my Thargoid science in solo. But yeah, I've not had any, like, server issues this morning. Although, Chauffeur, who had hosted my stream earlier, and in fact I did not give a proper shout-out for, I need to fix that before I forget. So let's just come to a full stop right here. Oh. It would help if I actually used the shoutout command now, wouldn't it? Did the servers just go in the red? Well, I'll know right away if I try to drop. Are we talking Elite Dangerous or Star Trek Online? I got an idea. I'm going to open another ED, okay. Because I know Star Trek Online is usually under maintenance at this hour as well. Okay, so you're pointing at the moon on the right. So you're pointing there. Right? Yeah, you're pointing at the moon, that moon. That's interesting, Deno-san. I don't know why your game went down, but mine is still alright. I hope I can still... Oops. I hope I can still finish up my Thargoid science.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Folks, this is called getting impatient. Or this is just called taking the lazy way out. I heard the clank for a minute, and I thought for sure I blew the link by accident.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, you know what, let me reload my ED launcher and see what the story is. Yeah, my ED launcher says the servers are okay. Maybe it's region specific? I doubt it, but maybe. Because I'm in Northeast US right now and everything's fine. What about the rest of you folks in chat? Do either of you, are any of you folks having any server issues right now? Oh, hey, we got some Galnet articles we can check out. We'll do that after this site. I just looked, when I reloaded the launcher, the new Galnet articles just came in. Alright, we are going to drop out right here. Right at the edge of the gravity field. Gravity is still fairly low. Getting link accuracy should not be too much of an issue. Where'd the link go? I don't even see it. Oh, there it is. It's way further away than I thought it was. There it is. Now, unfortunately, the link is kind of struggling a little because the link was perpendicular to the planet initially. The signal beam was, at least. So that can happen where the signal beam just goes flying off on its own. It is pointed pretty much right at the hemisphere. Or, not the hemisphere, at the edge of the tip of the planet. So, here's how we're going to go about this. We're going to pick up the link again.
Cargo scoop deployed.
And we're going to travel to pretty much where the dark and light sides of the planet meet up.
3, 2, 1, engage. Orbital flight engaged.
And we're going to drop out right here. Now, if we jettison the Thargoid link and check that signal again, it should point directly at what it's supposed to without us having to go to the other side of the planet. Unfortunately, the link is, again, spazzing out a little bit. This is another problem it can have every once in a while. That is nothing a quick little tap cannot fix. Usually. There we go. Now it's sorting itself out. So it's pointing almost straight down, actually. It helps that we're so high up that the planetary gravity is virtually non-existent. So, kind of tough to see, but it's pointing at a very tiny pair of craters. Now, the link signal beam lasts for a good solid minute or so, so you have a good amount of time to... You know what? I'm lazy. We're just going to grab a limpet. I don't want to lose the visual of the... Careful, limpet. Anyway, we're going to go this way. I did actually keep the link right. Yes, I think we did. So just a couple of hitches on screen, but otherwise things are looking all right on your end. Okay. I might have to take this actually a little slowly. Because I actually can't see. I'm actually too high angled right now. I'm hoping it sorts itself out by the time I... Oh, no, pull up. Do we go down the long way, or do we... I'm gonna wait this out, because I don't want to relog the game for two reasons. One, that may scramble the mail messages. It may cause them to flip, so this will become signal 1, this will become signal 2. The second is it might throw my orientation off, and I don't want that to happen either. We are now lined up, though, so as soon as we re-enter Super Cruise, we will be gliding down. So, give it just another 15 seconds or so, we should be down there.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. 3, 2, 1, engage.
See if we can't find what we're looking for. I don't see any distinctive features in the ground yet, and the shadowing is actually making life really difficult right now. This lighting is actually very, very bad, and I cannot see a thing. I do see some kind of distinct marking on the ground over here. What I may end up needing to doing is ascend and drop the link again, because I think there is something here, but the problem is I've got a problem with bad lighting. Like, I can't see anything right now. Like, I'd be shocked if somebody on stream could see what I'm looking for here. Oh, is this it actually? Oh no, it's just a bunch of rocks. So no, this isn't it either. It's in this area, I just gotta find it first. Oh, hold on, there's something to my right. It might just be a loaded ship. Oh. It's a Diamondback, yeah.
Landing gear deployed.
Yeah, this Diamondback is just guarding some cargo that happens to be lying around. Oh, no, it's not. This is what we're looking for. Oh, no, it's not. It's a nav beacon. It's just a random beacon. So yeah, that is not what we're looking for. But this Diamondback is just guarding it. So, we're just gonna leave him be. He's not what we're after.
Landing gear retracted.
So let's pull back up and continue the search for what we are looking for. I may have to drop the link again because the problem is, again, the bad lighting is making it very difficult for me to see what should be here. And I can't find any distinct markings in the ground that would indicate where I'm supposed to be. I need to ascend a specific distance, however, so I'm going to ascend to about 10 kilometers and then drop the link again.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So, pull up a little bit. And that should be enough. 12 should be high enough, yeah. It should also unload the Diamondback as well. Did the link even drop? I'm pretty sure it did, but since I'm so... There it is. The link, for whatever reason, becomes untargetable beyond 50 meters if you're so close to the ground. It's because of a weird targeting quirk with ground-based entities. Here we go, here we go. So it's pointing at... Yeah, it's pointing at a dark spot. You can see it right there. It's just at the tip of that crater. Well, I'm gonna assume it's at the tip of that crater because I just knocked the link around.
Cargo scoop deployed. Collector limpet expired. Frame shift.
Don't know why I did that.
Cargo scoop retracted.
We'll just do gravitic diving here. It would help if I put power into systems. I better hurry up because I'm losing light because of the sunset.
Thrusters online. Power plant capacity exceeded.
I should be able to see what we're looking for, though, this time. Alright. Oh, I do see a unusual coloring there. I believe we may have found what we are looking for. Bright red lights typically indicate comms beacons. Ah, yes. I know where this is now. It is the Jameson crash site.
Landing gear retracted.
So take a look, ladies and gentlemen. You might notice that this is a Cobra, but it's of an older design, similar to the, with markings similar to the features of the original game. We are actually going to get the, comms codes for this one, because I have not shown it off yet.
Deployed.
Now, if I could just find a parking space. There was a parking space earlier, now I just gotta find it again. Oop. There we go. Gotta wait for the SRV to reload. There we go.
Driver assist on. Low gravity warning.
There are some cargo canisters here, but there aren't too many particularly high-value items. There's a spare limpet, though, I could pick up. Nah, I don't think I'll need it. Ah, come on. There we go. Nope. We're missing a comms link. Where's that last one? Is it that one up there? Yeah, it's that one up there. Hey, Zesty, welcome to the stream. Alright, we have everything we need. Oh, adaptive encryptions capture. Very nice. Let's look at the ship analysis. High concentration of mycoid particles. Search known databases. Results confirmed. Designed Cobra Mark III. Registered pilot Commander Jameson. Yeah, this is the Cobra that belonged to the famous, the most famous member of the Pilots Federation, John Jameson himself. Let's listen in.
Hey there, kiddo. Now, I know I said I'd be coming home soon, but they've asked me to do something important. And I couldn't say no. I wanted to be there, believe me, but sometimes you have to make sacrifices. And, well, this is one of those times. I don't know if that makes much sense to you, but maybe it will do when you're older. Anyway, I thought I'd send you this log. I know it's not the same as being there in person, but it's the best I could do. I'm sorry. I'm not really supposed to talk about my mission, but if I'm going to miss your birthday, the least I could do is give you a good story. Consider yourself sworn to secrecy, soldier, okay? I'm sitting in the cockpit, waiting for the all clear. They want to tinker with her for a while first, but they don't seem to have done any harm. All systems online, everything's looking good. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't feeling just a little jittery. I've fought bugs before, sure, but never more than one at a time. Flying up to one of their hive ships, well, that's a whole different story. Hell, I don't even know what I'm carrying. Classified, they said. All I know is it's designed to target the bug's hyperdrive so they won't be able to leave the system. Of course, if it doesn't work, I'm just kicking the hornet's nest. That's why I've set my nav system to jump out as soon as I've deployed the payload. Can't be too careful. Wish me luck.
Capacity exceeded. Landing gear retracted.
That was almost too easy. Thread my way past the perimeter, mask my heat signature so I get close to the superstructure. I tell you, I've never seen a hive ship up close before. Doubt many people have. It was amazing, kiddo. Beautiful, really. Makes you realize just how smart they are, how advanced. I admit it. I hesitated for a moment before I hit the button. I had to remind myself it wasn't them I was attacking, just their technology. As if this microid virus of theirs even works. Oh, man. I watched the payload rocket into the belly of their ship and stuck around just long enough to make sure it hit home. Then I punched the throttle. Whoa! Whew! I'm coming home, kiddo. I'm coming home.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
We're supposed to target the hyperdrives. That's what they told me, just the hyperdrive, so we'd be safe again. So we could live without fear. Well, it did a hell of a lot more than that. There were sensors on the payload so I could monitor the reaction and make sure it activated properly. I'm staring at the data now. The weapon is lethal. They knew what it could do. They knew what it could do, and they used it anyway. How many have we killed? Thousands? Millions? God forgive us. Got myself a bit of a situation here, kiddo. My guess is that they installed a program in my ship and set it to trigger after I deployed the payload. All my systems are dead, the controls are out. Can't even access the escape pod. And the ship is on a collision course. And there is nothing I can do about it. We need to inspect your ship, Commander! How did I fall for a ruse like that? Oh, God. Oh, I'm at least partly to blame. Gotten old, careless. I should have quit years ago. I guess I should have known they wouldn't want me coming back. And the bugs are dangerous, no doubt about it. But, well, this is mass murder we're talking about. You can understand why they want to keep it a secret. I know some men wouldn't want to admit they've killed thousands of sentient beings. I guess the guys back at base think they're doing me a favor by burying me out here in the black. Personally, I'd rather people knew what happened. Even if I didn't come out of it looking too good. I don't have much time. There's a big old plant in my viewport, and it's getting bigger every second. People will talk about what I did after I'm gone, the missions I flew, the things I accomplished. There's something I want you to remember. No matter what they say, whatever garlands they hang on my name, whatever they write in my tombstone, you were my greatest achievement. I love you, son.
Yeah, folks. So, that ultimately was the fate of Commander John Jameson. He was ultimately hired by the INRA to deliver the mycoid virus to the Thargoids. And they sabotaged his ship so he couldn't reveal his findings when he got back. This discovery would actually lead to a huge arc in Galnet concerning the League of Reparation, which was a group dedicated to, for lack of a better term, seeking revenge for John Jameson's death. Basically what they ended up doing was finding anybody who had any sort of biological relationship with INRA researchers, even long-standing descendants who had no occupation related to science or aliens or anything related, and flat out outright killed them. And it got to a point where there was actually a CZ based around it, a CG rather, excuse me, designed to hunt the League of Reparation down, which ultimately succeeded. The leader was revealed to be a high-level official, or one of the leaders was believed to be, was found to be a high-level official in the, I want to say it's the Alliance military, I can't be sure. Alliance or Federal military, I can't remember right off the top of my head. And the latest we've heard out of him was that his convoy was actually attacked. His prisoner transport convoy was actually attacked, and we've not seen any word out of him since. Now, since I got a new log, it's possible that these signals are swapped, so I'm playing Signal 1 down before we get to the next location. Because I think this is now Signal 2. Nope. It didn't swap. Good to know. Now here's a nice little feature. Even though I played the wrong signal, playing the right one will still trigger the laser pointer even while the link is giving out chirps for Signal 1. Like so. So, here's a question. Is the link targeting... There's only one of two things it could possibly be targeting in this system. Is it targeting Balfoy Vision? No, it's not. So it's not targeting Balfoy Vision or the Aegis Vanguard. It's going not even towards Nowney B. Ah, here we go. Nowney AB4. I wonder what else is in this system. I thought for sure that it was going after the Aegis Vanguard. Now I'm curious what this is targeting. There's no Omega ships in the vicinity of this, well, AB3 is right there as well, and there is a damaged megaship. It's possible that the link is targeting this Gordon-class megaship. I don't have a manifest scanner installed, so I can't be sure, and considering there's no landable bodies, I'm willing to bet that that megaship is the target. Oh, you know what? Let's, I forgot to write on my Word document the notes I found so far. So HIP 19792 was Betterton Outpost. And that is a damaged base. HIP 12099 is the Jameson crash site. And we're at Nowney now. And I'm pretty sure it's this Gordon-class bulk cargo ship. We'll verify once we drop into it. Hopefully there aren't any additional ground facilities we have to stop at. There's only one other non-starport target that could be, that is on our list today. Now, one piece of content that's not yet been released in the game that the Jameson logs hinted at is that there are Thargoid hive ships, and we're still waiting to actually see what those are. Looks like only 8 vessels are there. So just to verify, we're going to come to a full stop and drop the Thargoid link in just a second. Now, if you scan this, this transport ship and scan the cargo bays with a manifest scanner, it is possible that you may encounter Thargoid items inside. Multitasking. I can agree to that, Eric G. I've not fought any Hydras myself. In fact, I don't think I have a Basilisk kill on my record yet. I've got a lot of Cyclops, though. Those are not an issue these days. But yeah, you can see the link is, in fact, pointing directly at this bulk-class cargo ship. So that is what? That is the target. So let's go examine a little bit, shall we? Too fast. How many lipids do I still have left? 1. Wait, don't move. So let's scan the... I did scan the ship, right? I think I did, but I'm too far away to see the data log. There we go, ship log uplink. This is what we're too far.
Flight assist on. Landing gear deployed.
The log uplink has a minimal range of only a few hundred, a couple hundred meters. Item we found from that wreck has been pointing us in the same direction for countless jumps. It must be taking us somewhere quite significant. Is that the cargo ship making that noise? Funny, I don't remember those being that noisy. The item we found is somewhere quite significant. Hyperspace conduit unstable. Unknown system malfunction. Captain, we've approached by a vessel of unknown origin, scanning the ship. Whatever we've been heading, we're not welcome. Let's let it finish its scan. Wait, it's opening fire and the systems aren't coming back. We're sitting ducks. Yeah, that's what happens when you take Thargoid stuff. There's a few defense turrets installed on this thing, but that's about it. Also, they left an escape pod behind. Might as well get it. Come on, really? There we go.
Landing gear retracted. Cargo scoop retracted.
All right. I don't have a manifest scanner, Zesty, so I can't. I could interrogate the cargo bays, but I can't see what's inside them. I need a manifest scanner for that. Alright, so the Nauni system was a damaged megaship. Alright, our next stop is going to be the Ball system. That is how you spell it, right? Yeah, good. Okay. Oh, wow, so these systems are fairly close to each other.
Frameshift drive charging.
Because, yeah, you can see, the Jameson crash was here, Nauni was here, and Ball is here. The other two systems are going to be around here. The recent attacks have been clustered around the area near UGP 145. I don't know if that science ship is actually still moving, Prodigy, because the link signals weren't pointing to it this week. Now, there's one of two targets this thing could be after. It could either be that Dionysus-class agricultural vessel or the Acropolis. The link actually hasn't targeted random megaships in a really long time now that I think about it. Over the course of September, it's always been targeting 2 INRA bases, 2 starports, and the Gnosis and that random science vessel. And this is signal 5, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Come on, really? Fine, take it. I don't need it anyway. Alright, where is it pointing? Is it pointing to the Acropolis or is it pointing towards the Dionysus class? It's not pointing towards the Acropolis. What a jerk! Took my link and the probes.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
But yeah, I think that Dionysus-class agricultural vessel was the target. It's definitely not pointing at Gauss Station. It never points at small-scale ports. So yeah, Ball is going to be a damaged Dionysus agricultural vessel. Zesty, the probes are worth 430 million credits. The sensors are only worth 280k, and the link is worth 40k. Or 35k, because links are fairly easy to get. I'm actually surprised the sensors aren't more valuable, less valuable, since they're so easy to come by now. Because there is a specific farming spot for Thargoid sensors. So yeah, he demanded a lot of money for cargo, a lot of credits worth of cargo, because I was carrying high-value items. But in this case, it doesn't matter because I no longer need the probe or the sensor. So if necessary, I could just sack the sensor again. Now this Dionysus-class vessel is carrying escape hatches. How these work, for those who are not aware, you can interact with these using the data link scanner and using hatchbreaker limpets. These will release exclusively escape pods. And the escape hatches are public, so you can hack these freely without drawing a bounty. Now where is that systems log uplink? There it is. Wait, where is it? I thought I targeted it. Oh, nope. Apparently it was this way. There it is. It's on the outer edge of this habitation ring. Here's a nice little detail I like. This log uplink is actually, if we go very close to it, a black box. Oops. Flight recorder, do not tamper. But yeah, it's pointing at a black box.
Flight assist off.
And what does this one say? Helm, get ready to go to full burn as soon as the system comes back online. Until then, all we can do is wait and hope it's just curious and we'll leave once it's scanned us. So yep, was probably hyperdicted and scanned, and it probably had a Thargoid probe in it. Or something. Oh, sorry, I meant 435,000. If I said million, I'm sorry. I meant 435,000. The sensor is worth about 280,000. Alright, our next stop is going to be the Otherny system. It's a bit of a trek, but it's nothing the Anaconda can't handle.
Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging.
In fact, I might skip the second jump with the synthesis.
4, 3, 2,
1. How far away is that last jump?
fuel scooping.
100? What's our jump range? 79? A quarter would not put us over, so we have to use a G2. We'd be short by just a smidge. In fact, I shouldn't have fueled up so much. Oh well. Alternatively, I could have just dumped a couple of tons of cargo, but it's not a big deal. I don't need the synthesis materials, it's not the end of the world.
Drive charging.
Welcome to the Otherny system, ladies and gentlemen.
Fuel scooping.
No sign of any megaships nearby. So let's take a peek at Ryazanski Enterprise.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
And what's our time? 17 minutes after? Nah, it's too late. Alright, let's make this quick. Alright, Otherny was signal 4, if I recall correctly. Yes, indeed. The link is pointing at Ryazanski Enterprise, or at least it's trying to. Yep, that's pointing at that starport. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is how we determine which starports are on the chopping block for this week. Long story short, there's actually a transmitter parked at Ryazanski Enterprise. It's about 1 kilometer, 1 megameter away from the station. That's transmitter at the top of the hour. I might as well say this now because we're not going to be seeing it on this stream, because by the time that happens, I'll be long done. The transmitter outside this starport will say at the top of the hour, anomalous signals detected in system. That is basically your elimination of all doubt that this station is on the chopping block. And you will notice that non-human signal sources are starting to pop up. If enough Thargoid vessels are destroyed before the next server tick happens next Tuesday at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, this station will not be attacked. It will be spared. But if enough Thargoids are not destroyed, the station will be attacked. The most recent station attack, as mentioned previously, was UGP-145, and I actually showed that off on the week it was attacked. But luckily, it seems that attacks have been kept at bay for the last couple of weeks. Zesty, the link is actually pointing to the transmitter itself and not the starport, so I guess I'll just show this off real quick while we have some time. But if I drop the link again in the vicinity of the starport, it will point at the, it'll actually point to the transmitter. I'm gonna drop just before, or hit the drop button just before I actually get into the starport entry zone. Nice water world. So I am actually going to drop out right here. Now, there's absolutely no chance in heck I'm chasing down a transmitter in this thing, so we're just going to be able to at least show it on screen, but that's about it. So yeah, the link is not actually pointing at the starport because, as you can tell, you can see rather, starport's over there. So let's take you to what it's actually pointing at.
Cargo scoop deployed.
The Anaconda has a really long nose BTW, but it is also got a very loud noise on its thrusters. So we're going to go away from the starport, and we're going to go till about 1 megameter, and then we're going to drop out. So we are going to drop out right here. Oops, looks like we just overshot it. It's actually coming at us pretty fast. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the transmitter I am referring to. Now, unfortunately, we're actually not instanced with it because we're out of range. And the Eric, thank you for the follow. Thank you for stopping by this afternoon. Can I say that? Yes, I can. Oh, good, the transmitter stopped, so we're now in its instance. So, this is the transmitter I was talking about. This is the one that spits out the message that says anomalous signals detected in system. This transmitter, like I said, is the warning sign that that station is on the chopping block and the anti-Xeno ships need to get involved in order to protect it. So, with that said, let's go to our last destination of the afternoon, and that is going to be LDS 883. If I can find it. So again, right around the corner, 2 jump trip, and I think the transmitter just flew away again. Yes, it did just fly away again. There are some serious instancing issues with the transmitter as a result of it being right at the edge of the starport. Of the starport sphere of influence. Another visual cue that you can tell if a starport is most likely the target is if an ammonia world is in the same system as that starport. Since Eagle Eye was brought up, like 99 times out of 100, the next starport on the chopping block was in the vicinity of an ammonia world.
Frameshift drive charging.
The only one time out of 100 where it technically wasn't is the Gnosis, because it wasn't orbiting an ammonia world when it was attacked on its way to the cone sector.
4, 3, 2.
Interesting that neither of the Aegis megaships were targeted. A cargo ship here, but there's also Smith Reserve, and that's miles away. So this could be one of 2 things. It could either be Smith Reserve or it could be that cargo ship. But if I had to hazard a guess, based on typical history, the starport is probably the target, especially since there is an ammonia world in the system right here, right next to an ELW, no less. Let's drop out. Yoink. Link. Oh, we also have to turn in that escape pod. Can't forget about that poor fella. And you were Signal 6. We're not going to actually go all the way over to this starport because it's just too far away. The laser pointer actually has a pretty nice sound effect too. See if we can get listen in on it real quick. Sorry, random phone call. Don't you hate those random solicitations these days? Yeah, you can actually hear the thing. It is not pointing at the cargo ship, because the cargo ship is in front of me, so it's probably pointing at Smith Reserve. Yep, it's pointing at Smith Reserve. So yeah, I'm not going to go all the way over there, because again, that's a long trip. Actually, you know what, let's be triply sure that it is Smithport, so yeah, we will make that trip. It's gonna be a long one, but oh well.
Retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3,
Although it's really weird. You would think that that star, the one that Smith Reserve is in front of, would be the drop point for the starport, but for some reason it's not. This is the B star we dropped out at, Gliese 118.2b. I don't know why it dropped us here and not LDS 883. Especially when all the big stuff appears to be at LDS 883. Well, actually no, it's pretty evenly split between the 2 areas. It's even worse on LDS 883C, on Gliese 118.2C. Yeah. What does Smith Reserve have? It has IF. Interesting. $950,000 per round trip. That's not too bad. Actually, you know what? There is some stuff we can do while we're waiting this trip out. We can play the Galnet news today because that's updated. Let's start from here.
Oktoberfest supply campaign successful. Mold Federal Mining Incorporated has confirmed that its appeal for commodities to supply an Oktoberfest celebration in the Bagui system has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the campaign by delivering commodities to Liavit port, and by protecting traders in the Bagui system. A spokesperson for Mold Federal Mining Incorporated issued the following statement. Thanks to so many generous pilots, Bagui Oktoberfest will now go ahead. Revelers will be able to put aside their differences, forget their troubles and celebrate life. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Liavit port, in the Bagui system. Broadcast Cobra Initiative. Media organization Broadcast Cobra has announced its intention to build a megaship in the HIP 16038 system. The organization, which specializes in politics and current events, aims to reach a much wider audience with the construction of this mobile studio. Alessandra Coe of Broadcast Cobra issued the following statement. As a broadcaster, we like the idea of a ship that can carry our signal to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. A megaship will allow us to transmit to systems that other broadcasters can only dream of reaching. To facilitate construction of the megaship, Broadcast Cobra has placed an open order for thorium, indium and superconductors, and has promised to reward pilots who deliver these commodities to Starports Dock, in the HIP 16038 system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing material can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 4th of October 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately.
This is one of the big ones I want to hear in.
Bishop's congressional bid collapses. Juanita Bishop, whose protest movement against the Thargoid cult gained broad support, has failed to be elected to federal Congress. Independent political analyst Vaughn Niven published this summary. Many of Juanita Bishop's followers have abandoned her in the wake of Gethin Okonkwo's investigation, which found no connection between the Thargoid sect and the Thargoids. As a result, Mrs. Bishop's congressional campaign has collapsed. There has also been a sea change in attitude within Congress itself. The majority of members have now taken a stand against Mrs. Bishop for cultivating civil unrest and violating the Federation's principles of religious freedom. Juanita Bishop gave a forceful statement to the media. If Congress can't see that these people are dangerous, then they're fools. These Thargoid spies need to be rounded up and executed before they murder us all. History will prove me right.
So yeah, that was the one I was really interested in hearing because I was very curious to know how that whole Thargoid investigation would play out. Oh wow, all that and it only took us halfway to Smith Reserve? And I'm slowing down. Why am I slowing down? Am I too close to that star? No, I'm miles away from that star. Ah well. You know what, let's look at the week in review for the time being. We ain't got much else to do while we're waiting for the, Actually, wait a minute, is this... Oh, this is today's, Starport status update, isn't it? Oh no, this is the, Starports in need of repairs. Oh well. So, let's just read this out, because I don't want to list through the whole top section here. So, Thargoid sensor-related interference has been reported in Chanab, Chekcha, Jennik, Laosang, Jabugle, Kabiku, Demokorna, Chekha, Dekt, Setet, Hapatis, Jerokaikau. Oh, so this is all the systems where Thargoid sensors are being delivered to, not necessarily which systems are closed. I see Mars Landing is no longer on this list, though. Mars Landing was on the brink of closure list 2 weeks ago. So I'm very glad that that's not there anymore. I don't see any other particular systems that are that need to be looked at. Anything on that front. So Let's see. Galactic authorities have appealed for independence to deliver meta alloys to prevent loss of station services. So these are the starports that are on the brink of closure. San 2. Oh boy. Cowper Dock in the Anima system. I remember that one. I've been there before. Marguelas Dock in Cornegu. Whoops. Pre-research base in HIP 17225. Ramsey City in the Anagori system. Soyan Hub in the Coma system. Strekalov Gateway in Ross 733. And stop doing that. And Warren Prison Mine in Ross 128. It looks like there aren't any starports that are actually closed. Or this area is blank. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're about to park at Smith Reserve now. And in fact, what is here? Yep, non-human signal sources. A 7. So that could either be a ton of scouts or scouts plus Basilisk. Or Medusa by itself. Although, it's more likely scouts in systems that are targeted by Thargoids for attacks. So yeah, that basically confirms at this point that Smith Reserve is the next target on the list. So we'll go park at Smith Reserve and we will call it a day. Smith Reserve is one of those giant, long-arm starports. Never quite understood the purpose of those.
Conflict established. Please approach the station at a safe speed and give way to larger vessels, Commander. Request approved. Cleared for landing on docking bay 2-5.
Anyways, here we are. Sometimes if you've seen the transmitter before you drop at the starport, you can, still see the transmitter from 1 megameter away.
Maintain current vector, Commander.
So, I just, if you remember the chirps earlier, this was an independent starport that was targeted, while the last one was an Imperial starport. Up until, I think, RMK-6, no Imperial starports were ever successfully attacked. I think it was RMK-6.
Touchdown confirmed.
I'm gonna have to double check that later. But let's gas up and fix up, especially since we crashed into the ground earlier. And let's go over our final findings for today, folks. After I make one last note. So, our final notes for today. For the first signal from Eagle Eye 1, we discovered John Jameson's Cobra at HIP 12099. The second signal from Eagle Eye 1 gave us the Nowney system, which was a damaged Gordon-class megaship. Signal 3 from Eagle Eye 2 was HIP 19792, which is Betterton Outpost, a damaged Aegis base. Signal 4 from Eagle Eye 2 gave us the Otherny system, which targeted Ryazansky Enterprise, which is a starport in the vicinity there. Pretty close to the arrival as well. The fifth signal from Eagle Eye 3 targeted the Ball system, which was a damaged Dionysus-class agricultural megaship. And finally, the LDS 883 system was Signal 6, and that yielded to our current location where we are right now, Smith Reserve. So those are your Eagle Eye notes for the week of October 4th, 3304.